moment. The petition has more than 231,000 signatures. So here's Fields this morning on the new Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin show on ESPN Radio.
I think if the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 all think that they can have a season safely, then I don't see any reason why the Big 10 couldn't do the same. I think if we can get everybody on the same track in the conference, I think that'll be a safe way to actually conduct the season. Would we be more safe on campus playing football or off campus? Just doing whatever. I think COVID, you can contract it anywhere, and I feel more safe at the facility around my teammates, knowing my teammates are going to get tested twice a week, and that's kind of the safest environment for it.
And this decision, or this petition rather, follows the Big Ten's decision to postpone the 2020 season due to health concerns surrounding the coronavirus pandemic, also a vote by conference officials. So, Max, I want to ask you about this. Actually, let's start with Stephen A. here. Do you agree with what Justin Fields is doing in regards to this petition?
Somewhat. That would be the appropriate answer in this particular instance. On one hand, I completely appreciate his passion and his desire to play, and I totally get what he said. I thought it was the most profound point he made listening to him talk to Zubin, Keyshawn, and Jay this morning on ESPN Radio. And congratulations to them for their morning show. And congratulations to you too, Max, because your show debuts this afternoon as well. The thing is that when you listen to Justin Fields speak and he talks about how we may very well be safer being together playing football than we would be if there were no football and we were left to our own devices. That is a profound point that he made. And I think that should be the ultimate point that him and anybody who's attached their signature to that petition should be making. But if the argument is we want to play football, we're passionate, we love the game, we don't want to go without playing football, that's not good enough during a pandemic. And that's what people need to understand here. You know, the exhausting of safety protocols and things of that nature is something that the Big Ten should have engaged in for the last months. The fact that they appeared so ill-prepared is a shame and a pox on them as a conference, as far as I'm concerned, as well as the Pac-12. We get all of that. But the flip side to it is that, it's not passion itself and a desire to play the game that you love so much. It's not enough incentive to ignore the profound impact caused by a global pandemic. It's just that simple. You can't do that. Now, again, if you're going to make the argument that we're safer playing football than we are if we were out there, then that's a different argument, although it's not one an institution of higher learning needs to adopt per se, because they've got to worry about the liability issues that come their way if indeed they allow football to be played and a significant spike takes place. But again, if you're making the argument that you're going to be safer, it is something that should be listened to. That's not something that should be ignored. And I applaud Justin Fields for pushing that narrative. Just do away with the passion. We love the game. We want to play. We want to play. We want to play. That's not good enough to ignore a global pandemic. But the fact that you'll be safer playing football than you would not playing football, that's a profound argument we should all take heed to, and the Big Ten should take into consideration, along with all the other conferences.
Well, this is a debate show, but I don't think we're going to have a debate here. It's a serious issue, and we seem to mostly agree about this. I agree, Stephen A., that the best point he made, you called it a profound point, was he felt safer. Justin Fields said he'd feel safer with the protocols playing football than he would not playing football. I can't argue with him if that's how he feels, and he may even be right about that. Whatever exposure to other people you have, they've also been tested. Also, there are advances in technology. When I was saying there's 0% chance they'll finish the season absent a vaccination, that was given the existing testing protocols. But the NBA and the NBA's Players Association, as reported by many places, including ESPN over the weekend, has a new saliva-based test that's much cheaper and quicker than anything else out there and should help with testing. And in the absence of a vaccination, constant testing is really important because you can contact trace. And all that is a fancy word for saying who has the virus, who else have they been in touch with, let's test everyone real quick. Okay, whoever has it, go off and be by yourself for a while, let it run its course, and then it doesn't spread further, right? That's how you crush the curve. So I think that Justin Fields makes a lot of good points or has some good things to say here, and it's not like he doesn't have a viable position. He can defend it. The problem is that the U.S. was the last to shut down of the major industrialized countries. It was late. Let me put it this way. It was late shutting down. When health experts were saying every day we wait, when it's optional and not mandatory, it's bad, it's going to make it worse, they were all right. And the federal government had a disastrous response to this and it spread everywhere. So we have like the worst situation in the industrialized world right now, dealing with this pandemic. And so I understand why Fields looks at college and says, wait a minute, let's not be hypocritical. What, you know, if the real issue here is the spread of the disease, not just the health of the students themselves, but the spread to those who are most vulnerable, we're going to have class and stuff, right? Like people are going to be on campus. So hold up, why can't I play football? When they test better playing football than for, you know, I feel safer this way. The answer is, given the situation presently, we probably shouldn't be having kids on campus. So the question as to whether we should be having football is something else. And then the question is, if we do have kids on campus, for how long? How long will that last? And how long would a football season last, right? I think that given the kind of context in which he's discussing this, Justin Fields is noticing this situation's been handled terribly, horribly. And he's saying, well, okay, given this circumstance, why can't I play football? He's kind of right. It is kind of hypocritical to tell him he can't play football, and yet you're going to have kids on campus and everything. My answer would be, no, we probably shouldn't be playing football, and we probably shouldn't be having kids on campus, and then probably also shouldn't be playing football at all. But given the current set of facts as they stand, I can't say he's wrong.
I can't say he's wrong either. Number one, because he's able to point to other conferences that are going ahead with playing football. At least that's the intent for the immediate moment, number one. Number two, if students can show back up on campus, why can't the student athletes show back up on campus? Particularly since there isn't a program in America that can't make a legitimate argument that at least some semblance of a bubble atmosphere, particularly with big-time sports, because obviously the work that's put in, the fact that they've got to do so much together to prepare on a week-by-week basis for the games, thereby pulling them away from regular activities that take place on a college campus. All of those things are plausible, not to mention the fact that you can use sports as incentive to help them engage in adopting a bubble atmosphere. In other words, look, fellas, we can sit up here and we can start the season, but we're telling you right now, if there's a spike that takes place, the season's going to be canceled. How many dudes do you think are going to be able to discipline themselves in order to act accordingly? I would say a lot of them, though, although not all of them. Again, he has a legitimate argument. It's just that it can't be passion-based. What it needs to be based upon is the fact that in all likelihood, we would be safer playing football than we would be not playing football. That, to me, is the greatest argument that he could make, along with the fact that there are other conferences that are doing exactly this. So why did this conference make what could conceivably be perceived as a premature decision to postpone, if not flat out cancel the season?
Real quick, I don't think we can rely on technological advances saving the day in time to have a football season. I do understand, hey, why make any decisions that are irrevocable now when we see that technological advances, breakthroughs in testing or maybe a vaccination, there are several in stage 3 of development right now, might save the day. I think in a sober, realistic assessment, though, especially coinciding with flu season, from all the experts that you read, it is likely to get worse before it gets better, and it's already very bad.
Well, we also got to remember that the only reason the colleges are making this decision is because of a liability issue. If they didn't have to concern themselves with being liable, they would go ahead and play these games. So it's not about the welfare of the students or the student athletes. It's about the fact that they don't want to find themselves liable. If that wasn't the issue, they would be playing football.
You both make great points. Justin Fields makes a great point. We'll see if the Big Ten agrees in light of this petition garnering so much support. But right now, the conference has yet to make any comment.